everybody, and welcome to the chapter 11 of the Yarny Goodness podcast. My name is Pam, and I am going to be your host today. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you are a first time, welcome, and thank you for stopping in and enjoying my special brand of crazy. There's a plethora of knitting podcasts out there, and you chose and clicked on mine, and that makes me happy. So, we're going to be doing our normal whips and finished objects. I don't know which order we're going to do them in. Then we're going to do our Knowledge is Power segment. Our Knowledge is Power segment today is about blocking. I've had some questions about that, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that, and I'll impart any knowledge I have, which isn't a lot. So this isn't going to be a very long episode. I've got a few things that I've finished. If you've watched previous episodes, then you know that I'm trying to finish up all of my 2022 knits and projects before my lips are really driving me nuts. Before I do any new and shiny, which is really, it's really hard. Very, very hard. I'm trying to get all of these done, and I keep finding other things that I want to knit and crochet on. But I haven't done it yet. The only thing that I've added since December was my New Year's Eve cast on, and you'll see it. I'm still working on it. It's going to be a long project. So, oh, I lied. There's two that I just added on. There's that one and the cardigan for one of our cruises. Oh well. So let's go ahead and we will start talking about finished objects. So, finished objects. First, if you watched, might have been my podcast talking about what I wanted to, my projects for 2023. I told a whole story about how last January I crocheted a Charlie Brown and a Snoopy for my husband, and he posted it on a Facebook page, and long story short, he doesn't have it anymore. Somebody bought it. So, he told me, well, Pam, you can make me another one. I finally made them. One of the previous episodes, I showed Charlie, and here is Snoopy. Snoopy, he's all out of Red Heart. He stands, I had my tape measure right here. I can tell you how big he is. Matter of fact, let's see here. And he stands right around 8.5 inches tall, and that would be just about 22-ish centimeters for anybody who goes with that craziness. I'm sorry if you do. I'm an American and we don't use the metric system, and I don't understand it totally, but whatever. So, but there's Snoopy, all out of Red Heart, just black and white. And there he is, and all of his Snoopy goodness. So now he can go on my husband's shelf. In one of the first episodes, I did talk about I had a hat that I had made for myself, but I don't like hats. I don't wear hats a lot. Yeah, but I love hats. I don't like my head with the hat on with my hair up. I like my hair up, and if I wear my hair down and I've got the hat on, then it drives my hair around my neck, drives me nuts. My shawl does not, just my hair. I don't know. I remember back at the beginning, I told you, special brand of crazy, right here, special brand. So I made a hat, and it was too big, and I was like, I said that I was going to give it to my son-in-law for Christmas. It left me. I totally forgot about it. I gave it to somebody else. And my daughter called me and she's like, Mom, where's Kevin's hat? And I said, I still got it. So I'm very sorry, Kevin, if you ever see this. So here's Kevin's hat. It is, I just made it up myself, so it's a little wonky, but I couldn't find a pattern that I liked. I didn't like the decreases. So I had already kind of fudged a little bit because I already had this ribbing part done up. I had made an ear warmer. It was a hat that turned to an ear warmer, and it was really tall, and it was too tall. So I was like, I'm going to make it out of this. This is Library Fisherman's Wool. And I'm like, I'm going to make Kevin's hat out of that. Why don't I take that tube, the 2x2 ribbing that I had, fold it in half, and I was going to just make it to where it folded up, But then my daughter told me that he doesn't like those type, and I was like, okay, but I'd already picked up all the stitches to go this way, and I was already working this way. So I just took and I just whip stitched it down on the inside. So I folded it up and whip stitched it down where I could have held the two together. If I would have known beforehand, I would have folded it in half and held them together and picked up my stitches through both sides to make it instead of whip stitching it, but it does the same thing. But my decreases, I'm not happy with these decreases. It looks fine on, but yeah, whatever. It's a wool hat, and Kevin will enjoy it, I'm sure. So that will be going in the mail soon to my lovely son-in-law, Kevin. Then there is my granddaughter, Lily, who messaged me back in December and asked, this has been a whole saga. This is not Momo doesn't want to make socks. This is just, oh my gosh. So first, I found the yarn that I wanted, and this is the yarn that I used. It's Knit Crate. I no longer have the balls for it. This one I think is called Fatigue Green. I don't know. This was like alpaca, I want to say. I don't remember. I don't remember anything about it. I just remembered it's green, and it's Knit Crate. You can't even get into Knit Crate anymore. Knit Crate is no longer. You can't even get into it to find out what the color patterns, what the colors are. I had bought this probably close to a year and a half ago. I had they had 5 different colors in this base, and I bought some of each of them, and I made a Douglas cardie. I've worn it on here before. But yeah, I don't know anything else about it, but yeah, that. So then there's this green. This one was, again, this one's probably at least 2 years old as well. It's a very, let me see. That's better. That's better. So, but this one is a sock yarn. It does have nylon in it, where this one does not. So I held the two together for the sock. So I'm saying all that to say, the first ones I made, I was making just some vanilla socks. I got one done. One of my other granddaughters was over because my granddaughter in Michigan that wants these, she's as tiny as a rail. I've talked about this before. I think every time I talk about these socks. She's so tiny. So I didn't cast on, I think, I don't remember how many stitches, but I didn't cast on very many. And I made the sock, and I was getting ready to do the toe, and I had one of my other granddaughters over here who lives here with me in the same town, and she tried putting it on, and she's like, Momo, I can't get this over my ankle. And I was like, so back to square one. Then I tried using, because I'm like, she's a huge Harry Potter fan, and so and I'm like, she's a Slytherin, and I'm like, wow, I just automatically chose green. So I'm like, I found Snape's stockings, I think is what it's called. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I started to do those in the smallest size, which was casting on 48 stitches. But to me, they just looked like they were too big. So those came out. I feel like I have some of that furry alpaca in my mouth. So those came out. I undid those. So I'm getting ready to show you the third set. Because I have finished one sock in the first ones. All I needed to do, I was at the toe decreases. The second one, I was at the heel. So, I mean, I not completed a full sock, but it was close. It was a lot of knitting. So then I just went to a, just a plain vanilla stockinette stitch sock. And I'm going to put in an afterthought heel. So when I first did them, I believe it was this one. It was this one. I had put in some waste yarn for where I wanted the heel to go, and I was going to have the heel be right here. You can see these stitches are funky. I had black yarn right there. And so then, and I knit down, and then I did this, and I did the decreases, and she's 10. Her foot is not that long. That's more than half of this. So what I did was I took the two yarns together, and as I took out the black, I weaved in and out, in and out, in and out. Wherever the black yarn was, the green yarn went, so that I like Kitchenered that hole closed. So then my daughter tells me that her shoe size, I forget what it is, but it measures out to be that her foot is 9 1/4 inches long. So then I had to get on one of my Facebook groups, and I'm like, people help me. So we figured out that if I measure down from the toe 7.5 inches, that when I take these out and I put in the afterthought heel, they will be, that'll add the 1.25 inches that I need so that these will fit snug. So where these are at, where my little markers are at, is where I am putting, I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut. This is my first afterthought heel. I usually do a heel flap and gusset. And I'm scared. These have been done for a week. If not more. If not more. And I'm scared to death of cutting my yarn. I'm scared to death. But when I do, and here's another thing. I want to put in, like, this granddaughter was very, very close to my mom. And if you're a long time, watcher, my mom passed away, and her favorite color was purple. So I would like to use this yarn in the heel. My only problem is I only have like 2 grams. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. So if you know if 2 grams is enough to do an afterthought heel, let me know, because I'm going to be holding it with this green, the alpaca green. And I'm going to hold the 2 together. So that little bit of purple is in that sock for her. So if you know, if that's enough, please drop it below and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to have to reach out to my Facebook group again and ask them. So, I think that is all of my finished objects. Let's go to whips. All right, so whips. Let's look at the journey of my mittens. I still have them. I have one done. I have one hand. My right hand can be warm. And here's my left. I have put on another clue. So I have put on clue 2. So down here, clue 3. So from the Latvian braid, I gotta take it off. I like it, but I gotta take it off. From this braid down is clue number 1. This is clue number 2. I see I'm missing a stitch in there or something right there, yeah. And this right here is clue number 3 with the Christmas ornament bulb. And the bell. I'm over them. I love them. I want them so bad. But I'm over them. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 more clues to do. And then I have the thumb. Yeah. I'm looking at October. Skein Knits will put out another mystery knit along, and I'll be like, yay, I finished 2022. Just me. Ugh. I really need to just get them done. Do them. I just need to do them. I'm bored with them already. And I hate that. I hate it. Because if I sit down and do nothing else, like for a full day, because I work overnights, and so I'm sleeping most of the day. So like if I do a couple of rounds after I get home, it's only like 2 or 3 rounds that I can get done. But there's other things I want to work on. So, and I just found a pin in my seat. I don't know who's been in my seat, but I'm not happy. At least it didn't poke me. Anyways, we're going to go on to this. This is one of the projects that I started this year. Remember, there was the 2. that I started in January. So this is one of them, and it is out of the Vidaliana. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I don't know. My Knit Crate, the Silhouette. It is superwash merino wool and tinsel. So it's 50-50, superwash merino and tinsel. And I'm doing it because we're going on a cruise in May and September. And for some reason, they think that they need to keep it like a morgue inside when you're inside. So, you're going somewhere hot, so you bring hot stuff, tank tops and, your little sundresses, sleeveless dresses and everything. And when you're going inside, you need to have something to put on. So I decided that a couple of episodes ago, I wore the Christy Cardi. I'm going to make a note that I want to link it below. It's a free pattern. I don't remember who made it, but it is a free pattern. And it's the one that it drapes down. It was brown and gray, and it was like the both of the front panels. So you make a back panel and a front and two front panels, and both of the two front panels are the same size as your back panel, so that it's so long it drapes down, and I don't know what they call that, but so in the pattern you crochet. It's a crochet pattern, and I'm not losing stitches, but they're coming out. Good thing it's just crochet. Let me just grab it. So then you chain in the pattern, because it calls for worsted, I think. At least that's what I use. And you chain 117. Well, I only chained 95. And this, it's going to hit me just about at my waist. And then, the front will drape down and be longer, like this. This way that it hangs. So, but I just wanted some kind of a fabric to put on my arms. It doesn't have to be like a hoodie to keep me warm, just something on there. So this is what I come up with. And I'm this far on panel 1. I've just been sitting here in my chair at night instead of working on my festive mittens. I'm crocheting on this. Crochet is so much faster though. And this is, I'm housing it in and I've showed this before, my Sassy Sacks bag that I bought off of Etsy. See right there, Sassy Sacks. I can't read what else it says. But yeah, just my rain boots. So that's what is living in there. Then I have this one, and this is my last. Oh no, I got Chase's Cardi over there. I'll have to grab it. But this is my half and half triangle shawl. This is a free pattern by Pearl Soho. And it is going to be a two-tone shawl. I'm using this camel-y color. It's a Knit Crate yarn again. Surprise! They call it Jazz. It is the Audine Wools by Knit Crate in Harmony. I guess that would be the base that it's on. I don't know. But they call it Jazz, and Jazz is 41% wool, 26% alpaca, 23% tinsel, and 10% baby camel, and it's a worsted weight. To me, this would be it's a very fine worsted. It's not very heavy. To me, this is more like a sport weight to me. hold on, I'm going to run and grab the other colors. All right, sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to do the 1/2 of the shawl in that brown jazz colorway. I don't know why jazz, but whatever. Then I'm going to do the other half. I'm going to do stripes in this blue and green. I'm really liking it. The blue is called Cinderella, and it's Knitology for Knit Crate in the swirl base, and the swirl base is 65% superwash merino. It's got some Surrey alpaca in there, 25%. 35. I'm sorry, 35. So that makes 100. I was like, wait, that doesn't add up. That doesn't math. And it's worsted weight. And I have 2 of these, I believe. So I have 4 of the brown. So I'm hoping that that's going to be enough. And then I'm going to do this one in Knitology Wisp. And it's in the Conservatory colorway. And it is 100% merino wool, and it is a DK weight. So to me, this is the same weight as that jazz. To me, that's what it looks like when I'm looking at it. They look to be like the same. I don't know. I don't know. So there's that, and I forgot to put this in with this. Got to keep it all together. Oh, and back to my purple sweater. I'm crocheting this on a 4 1/4. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see that? 4 1/4. 4 1/4 crochet hook. So then the last thing I am still currently working on, and of course I'm in the middle of a row, is Chase's Blessed Cardigan. So this cardigan, see which way am I purling or am I knitting? I'm purling. I was going to finish and just sit and talk to you, but it's like the whole row. So it's going to stay just like that. It is, I'll flip it inside out. There we go. So I've done all of the increases. This was my last increase, and now so from this one right here, this was 15 inches, and I think he wanted it to be like 20 inches from the bottom of his armpit down. So from this marker right here, this is where I was, I want to say the last time I talked about it on the podcast, was where the blue little gummy bear is. I bought these on Etsy, and I don't remember who sold them. So, but from this marker here is 5 inches. Once I get to 5 inches, I can split for the sleeves. And then I can probably take all of these increases out now. I don't need to be remembered. And then he's going to have some afterthought pockets. He asked me today, he's like, Mom, what is up with with those short little stripes? I didn't ask for stripes in my sweater. I'm like, geez, those aren't stripes, those are your pockets. Oh, that boy. He did go get his license today, though. For anybody who doesn't know, Chase is 20. But I'm proud of him. He went and he got it. Oh, we've asked him for forever, why did you never get it before? He said, I never needed it before. Oh, I've got a mess going on there. He's like, I never needed it before. I had friends who would come pick me up. You guys drove me. Why did I need to have a driver's license? He said, oh, okay. So, but I'm knitting this out of the Karen. I'm finding all kinds of things down in this bag. A Karen Pound of Love. So although I know he'll knit it, or I know he's knit worthy. He will wear the knit, or I will take it back. But I can't trust that he won't ruin it in the washing machine. So, or throw it in with the rest of the laundry to go in the washing machine, and my husband won't know not to wash it and throw it in the washing machine. That he won't actually wash it because Chase doesn't do laundry. But anyways. So there is a project that I am going to be casting on as soon as I get one more off. I get one more off and it's going on. And that is Brett, my grandson up in Michigan. Finally messaged me. I've been talking with my daughter, and we talk at least once a week, and she's like, Mom, Brett keeps talking about his socks. Brett didn't text Momo and ask for socks. Until that happens, Brett's not getting socks. She's like, oh, okay. And then the next week, Mom, Brett's still waiting on his socks. Brett has to text me and ask me for socks. So this went on for like the month of December after Lily messaged me and wanted some. So finally, I get a text message. Let me show you what it says. I get this text message from Brett. And it says, I apparently was a while ago, because I'm just a scrolling. There it is. And he says, can I have blue and red and black? That's it. And a good 10 minutes goes by. And I said, what? He's like, Momo for my sock. I said, oh, I'll see what I can do. So I don't have like a plethora. I have a lot of yarn, but I don't have a plethora of sock yarn. Most of my sock yarn is a lot of pinks and purples and oranges and greens. And so, but I do have this. There's no black in it, but you've got red and you've got blue, which are two of the colors he asked for. So I'm going to take and hold one of these with one of these so that they become DK socks and they knit up a whole lot faster. Let me tell you, those Lily socks, I knit them both in like a day and a half a piece. So I've got like 3 days worth of knitting there that I've had finished for at least a week, maybe longer. I think it is longer because I'm pretty sure that in the last podcast I had the black. Pretty sure I had at least one. I think I had both of them done and they had the black string. I don't know. Somebody go back and watch and then come back and comment. I'm going to hold it with this midnight. This is another one that I bought for my Douglas Cardi. The Vidaliana Dusk. This is the shade Midnight. And it's a Hokoya alpaca. Surrey alpaca. So it's a DK weight. Can you see that? Right. I can't say that. So I'm going to hold the two of these together. So this will give it the durability and this will give it some soft and warmth. So I'm going to put those on soon. And let's see. I think I bought yarn for my Easy V sweater. I think that's the one I'm getting ready to cast that one on as well. As soon as I get, I ain't getting nothing off the needles anytime soon. The half and half cardio It's only like this. I did finish my leg warmers that I was making in the blue, and I can't show them to you because this week we're talking about blocking in the Knowledge is Power, and I did that first. I recorded it first. So right now they're soaking. They're soaking in a bath. They're taking a bath. I can't show them to you. So I will talk about them, but you can't see them. So they are finished. I have worn them. These were also made in Knit Crate. I believe the colorway was Skies. I don't know. They were shades of blue. So it was a gradient. I went something like this of these blues. Like that. So, but what I did was I knit them on a 5mm, I believe. I believe it was a 5mm. I was looking over here to see if it was sitting over here still. And I knit these two together for, I want to say it was 20 rows. So I started off knitting flat in 2x2 rib. A few episodes back I talked about the whole way, because it was a Pam pattern. It was no other pattern but Pam. I forget how many I cast on, but I did each section in 20s. So, and then I increased to a 2x3, 3 purls, 2 knits. And then at the top I decreased back down. Come to find out, I didn't need to do that. So if I ever do them again, I've got plans for more. So if I ever do them again, I've got lots of changes I'll be making, because they were too big. They stretched out a lot on my leg. I had to take and put some elastic. I took and sewed some elastic at the top. So I measured my leg and cut it shorter, so that it was tight, and then I just sewed it on the inside. I held it stretched out as far as I could and sewed it in so that it would sink it up, so that it's the diameter of the, I'm trying to think how I want to say it. The diameter of the elastic is smaller than my leg. So my leg measured 15 inches around, and I cut the elastic to 12 inches. So that when I pulled it tight, it went all the way, it met. I sewed it in a circle first. I whip stitched the edges together, and then I turned them inside out, and I stretched it, and I sewed it on the inside, so it sucked it all in. So, but I did these two first for 20 rows. Then I did these two for 20 rows. Then I did these two for 20 rows. And then I did those two for 20 rows. But I did 10 rows in the 5mm, and then I decreased back down. So when I did my decrease, I decreased the second knit with the first purl through the back loop, so that the knit stitch stayed on top, and it kind of hid that third purl behind. I hope that all made sense to people. It made sense in my brain, and it looked, when you do it, it looks right. So if you would have done it through the front, the purl would have been on top of the knit stitch, and then it would have changed it to a 1x2 ribbing instead of changing it back to a 2x2. So I did that, but I also changed needles down from the 5mm to the 4mm, and did 10 rows of ribbing at the top. You can't tell a lot of difference to look at it, but the feel is a little bit tighter. I thought that would be enough. It was nowhere near enough. Then when I started them, the first 10 rows I knit flat back and forth, and then I joined in the round, because I wanted the open part to be where my heel is at, and like the top 10 rows to sit on the top of my foot to kind of keep, you know, their leg warmers. So I wanted that warmth right there. When I put them on, it was too much, and they started dragging. So I figured that out while I was at work. So now I'm like fixing them. So I on my break I like whip stitched it. Actually, because I didn't have any crochet hooks with me. So I took my knitting needles. I had spare set of knitting needles, and I picked up like 5 rows and knit 5 rows, and then just tie a little knot in there. But I since took that out, and I just whip stitched it all the way closed so that it doesn't, because they sit down low enough on my foot now. I didn't need what I thought I was going to need for that to sit. I don't know if I'm even I don't even know if you guys are understanding this craziness that I've got going on. Don't know. But anyways, so there's that. All right, guys, we are going to be talking about what is blocking in today's Knowledge is Power. So I am going to be pulling all of the information that I'm going to use from the website Knitting with Chopsticks, and I will link it below. But so whenever you're knitting or you're crocheting, at the end of the pattern it always says to block before you wear, or something along those lines. And it's just telling you basically to either steam it. So you're gonna you usually like pin it out to the schematics that the pattern says, or what I usually do is I do a wet block. And that goes without saying that so acrylic is not a natural fiber. It is a man-made fiber, so it does not hold to the same characteristics as a natural fiber, cotton, wool, alpaca, suri, you know, all of those. So it is different when you block them. So anything that I have made that is acrylic, I have had no issues with throwing in the washer and throwing it straight into the dryer like you do any other garment that you have, whether it's one you've sewn, you've crocheted, knit, whatever. I've had no issues with doing that. I'm not going to say that you will not. I'm just going from my experience. I've had no issues with just throwing them in, like my weekender. I throw it in the washer machine, in the dryer, and it comes out beautiful every single time. So that has just been my experience. Your mileage may vary. But natural fibers will take the blocking process totally different than synthetics, which synthetics are harder. So when you go to block something, you're changing the memory of what it is. And so when your pattern tells you that it's 15 inches down and you need to pull it and pin it out, like on your weekender, from under the arm down, I'm just bringing out random numbers, I don't remember what they are, that it's 15 inches. But when you knit it, you only knit it to 13, so you want to pull it a little bit. So you're going to put pins along there to help pull it down so that when it dries to what you want it to be, the length you want it to be. And for the most part, they will stay that way. Like I said, again, the way that you do it, it might change, might do something different. It's a lot like, so this person, they talked about how it's a lot like when you dry your hair. I've got my notes. It's a lot like when you dry your hair. That it changes the way that your hair lays, that it's shiny, that it's straight, and it does all of that. So when you the first thing that a lot of it does when you wet block is it'll even out your tension. So it'll even out all of your stitches. All your stitches will relax, and they'll get in the groove, and they'll all look nice and pretty and uniform when when it dries. That's a lot of what it does. It relaxes everything out. It will affect the drape, the shine, and the softness of your yarn. A lot of your natural fiber yarns are softer after they're blocked, after the drape on it, the way that it hangs, isn't as stiff as it was before you blocked it. I talked about the shaping. You can shape it the way that you want it and pin it out, either using shawl wires with T-pins or just the T-pins themselves, or just, as Andrea Mowry's does, the little push and jush. She just like pushes everything out and jushes it a little bit. With your lace and eyelets, when you're knitting that, you can use the shawl wires and T-pins and really pull and open up those stitches so that you can really see the definition in those. And even in cables and that kind of thing, it makes them stand out even more. So with that being said, things that you will need for that, move my computer real quick. The things that I use to block is right here. I went to the dollar store, or the $1.25 store now, and I just got me one of these little bins. Because I don't want to do it in my sink because my family thinks that there's water there and their dirty dishes need to go into it. So they would just throw stuff in it. So I want to be able to pull it out and not have it sitting in my sink. Anyways, so I've got one of those. You'll need 1 or 2 towels. It depends on what your project is. I've also heard of people putting them in like a salad spinner and to spin all of the water out. So there's that. And then you'll need some wool wash. This one is the eucalyptus. I bought this. They're the little bottles, and I bought this. It's a sampler pack. There's 5 or 6 different smells because I didn't know which smell I was going to like. Excuse me. It was $25, I think, on Amazon. And I've blocked a couple of things, and it's still, way up here. So it's not like you use a lot. You're not like your laundry where you're pouring it in there and you're making it all, swishy and all that. And you don't, I'm not going to say you don't have to. I never did until recently actually use wool wash. I use Dawn in my kitchen. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying I did it. I never had any issue with it, with anything felting. I would just put a couple of drops in there and do that in, swish it up in the water to make the water a little sudsy before I put my knits in there. Once you put your knits in the water, you can pat, but you don't want to agitate. The agitating and heat is what causes felting with your natural fibers. So when I put things into do the wet block, I use, and I got this from Andrea Mowry. Andrea Mowry does it, so I figured if she can do it, I can do it. I use hot water. Put the hot water in my bin. I put a little bit of my wool wash in, and then I put my knit in the water, and I just kind of push it down to where it's all wet. I don't agitate. I'm just very gently pushing my knit down into the water so it's all wet, and then I leave it. They say to leave them, for 15 minutes or so. I leave it. A lot of times I will do it at night or right before I go to bed. I will put it in there, and then I'll just let it sit until the water is cold. So as it cools off, it's fine. Then when I bring it out, if this was my knit, I just squeeze, and I will show you. I'm going to go ahead in a minute. I've got something to do. So I just squeeze all the water out, okay, this way. And then what I do is I open up the towel and I lay it out on the towel and I roll it up in the towel. I step on a couple of times to get all of the water out, and then I lay it out to dry. I don't own any blocking mats yet. You can buy them on Amazon. I want to say they're like $40. They are just like the things we used to have the kids play with, the playroom mats that have the interlocking puzzle piece looking thing. That's basically what they are. So I have been thinking about going to like Walmart where they sell them cheaper because they're kids play mats, not drying mats, and do those. They're just foam that you can push the T-pins into, and it won't ruin the foam. So these are my supplies for wet blocking. Some other things that you could need are those blocking mats, which I will put a picture in. These are T-pins. This one came with my Chowagoo my interchangeable needles. They're extremely pointy, just like regular pins, but because they're stainless steel, they don't rust from being wet and drying. To where if you were to use, and I have used them, just regular straight pins, I guess if they're straight pins that are stainless steel so they don't rust, then that would be fine. Mine are stainless, they don't rust, so I have used mine in the past. And something else is if you've got to block it to a specific size, you're going to want one of your tape measures. Words are being hard today. Tape measures. So this is one I picked up at Michael. Nope, Hobby Lobby. I bought it only because it's a llama, and one of my grandchildren love llamas. And so I buy anything with llamas, I buy anything with flamingos, and I buy anything with sloths, because those are the three of my grandchildren love. They let Momo know, Momo will support it. But that is all I can think of that you would need for supplies. If you know of anything else that you use when you are doing your wet blocking, put them in the comments below, share it with the class, and let's go ahead and go into the kitchen and start wet blocking. Okay guys, I'm up here, so we're going to go ahead. I put my bin in the sink, and we're going to run some hot water in there. While the hot water is pouring in there, I'm going to go ahead and pour in like a teaspoon maybe of my wool wash, and it is the eucalyptus scent. I have my knits right here next to me. And then see, because I put that in there, it's really sudsing up really good. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. That's probably enough. And then I'm just going to gently lay my knits in and just push them down. And you can hear all the air bubbling out, just so that they get totally wet. And that's all I'm going to do to them. Just get them wet. And now it's time to sit. But the water has cooled off considerably from what it was. It's not as hot as it was. My wool wash was a no rinse, so I don't have to rinse this at all. I can pull it straight out of here and do the process, which is what we're going to do. But the water has cooled off considerably from what it was. It's not as hot as it was. So all I'm going to do is pull the leg warmers out, and I'm going to squeeze them. I don't want to agitate the yarn at all, so I'm not going to be twisting. I'm just gently squeezing out the water that's on there, like that. And then I'm going to put them on my other side of the sink over there. For those of you who watched the podcast, these are the leg warmers that I talked about that had all that construction nonsense that I did. This is where I put in the elastic. And then down here is where I had the opening. It was right here. And I just whip stitched it closed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch chapter 11 of the podcast. So all I'm going to do is pull the leg warmers out, and I'm going to squeeze them. I don't want to agitate the yarn at all, so I'm not going to be twisting. I'm just gently squeezing. This is kind of precarious, so I'm really hoping that my camera doesn't fall over. But what I do is I put out a towel like that. I bring down the knit that I need, and I kind of lay it out. Now this is not something that needs a specific shape, just, long. Yeah, didn't realize I wasn't in frame. Sorry guys. There we go. So I spread it out like that. These are really going to be a forgiving type, because, it's going on your leg, so it's not going to be much different. So I put them like that. I'm going to fold these over like that, And then I'm going to like roll, fold kind of deal like this. Then I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to do like this. This is, if you watch the podcast, you know I've got a shin splint and this is hurting. Oh, the information you get from Pam's videos. All right, and we're going to do that like that. And then unroll it. Now, I would not leave them to dry on another towel just because it'll hold moisture and they'll start to mildew. For things that I have to leave laying flat to dry, I grab a trash bag. And I use a trash bag. I just lay the trash bag out on the floor, and then I would lay these on top because the trash bag will not let the water mildew underneath because it's not gonna stay dry, but because it's a plastic, it won't do that. But I'm going to hang these. Oh, I'm gonna hang these up to dry. So that is how to wet block. If you have any questions, or if you know another way of me doing things, let me know down in the comments below. I'm always willing to learn new things, and I'm excited about learning new things and teaching people new things. So I'd be more than happy to try a different way. So just let me know. So if you guys did stick around to the very end, thank you very much. Thank you so much. You guys are all my best friends. Please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Comment. Let me know where you're coming from, what you did while I just blathered on just a yipping and a yapping. So I hope to see you guys next week. Bye.